Oh say, let us fly, dear. The first words of the song Come Josephine in My Flying Machine are not as well known as the chorus that Jack Dawson made famous in the movie Titanic. The song tells of a young man bringing his girlfriend along on a flight on his personal airplane. Written in the early days of aviation, it expresses the technological optimism of the era. For example, the song mentions the couple feeling they could hit the moon, a feat which was eventually accomplished less than 60 years after the release of the song. November in my bullet journal will be featuring the 1910s, a decade that changed history forever, and at the same time, it was filled with the hopes and dreams of many, impulsed by new discoveries and inventions that would shape society and make it what it is today. This was a decade defined by World War I, which began in 1914 and ended in 1918. It was a period of significant social and technological change, marked by urbanization, the rise of consumerism, and the beginnings of new entertainment forms like jazz music and motion pictures. Life in this time was simpler. There was no television or radio, and so it was a mix of tradition and modernization, marked by a world war and major technological shifts like the automobile, alongside significant social change and conflict. Many were migrating to cities for new industrial jobs, while those who remained in rural areas still engaged in traditional activities. Life was also physically demanding, with much of the housework done by hand and work often being dangerous. Electricity led the charge of developments that were changing daily routines and household chores, with transportation and chemistry not far behind. Many suburban homes had been wired up with power, and new electric gadgets were being patented with fervor. Vacuum cleaners and washing machines had just become commercially available, still too expensive for many middle-class families. The telephone was another new hot commodity, and slowly but surely families were entering an era where they could have more time to spend together. Art in the 1910s was dominated by avant-garde movements like Cubism and Futurism, which broke from traditional styles by using geometric forms and multiple viewpoints. Themes reflected the changing times, with artists exploring new roles for women, grappling with industrialization and expressing both nostalgia for rural life and the disorienting effects of modernity. Fashion saw a shift from the restrictive S-bend silhouette to a more flowing practical style, with women's dresses featuring high waistlines and ankle-length narrow skirts that allowed for more movement. Key trends included large, elaborate hats early in the decade, followed by smaller styles and the growing influence of World War I, which brought more practical garments like shirtwaists. For men, suits remained the standard, with the tuxedo gaining prominence for evening wear. My highlights start in 1910, the year when Jacques Cousteau was born. He was famous for being a pioneering ocean explorer, inventor, and conservationist who brought the underwater world to the public through his films and books. He is best known for co-inventing the aqualung, a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus that revolutionized scuba diving and made extensive exploration possible. His work with the research vessel Calypso and his popular television series The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau raised global awareness about marine life and the need for ocean conservation. Did you know that the mother of all headphones was invented in 1910? Nathaniel Bladwin, an American inventor, is widely credited with creating the first modern headphones with a headband. His invention revolutionized personal audio and laid the groundwork for all future headphone designs. He initially developed a device, which he called a radio headset, to improve sound clarity for telecommunication and to help him hear sermons at a local Mormon temple in Utah. The headphones featured two earpieces connected by a headband, a form factor still used today. They were entirely handcrafted in his kitchen and used balanced armature drivers, a highly efficient technology. The Zeppelin LC-7, also known as Deutschland, was the first passenger-carrying airship for the German airline DLAG, with its maiden flight on June 19, 1910. 9 days later, on June 28, the airship crashed into the Teutoburger forest during a storm and was destroyed, though there was only one minor injury. In 1911, Machu Picchu was rediscovered by Yale professor and explorer Hiram Bingham III, when he was led to the ruins by local Quechua guides. While Bingham is credited with bringing the site to global attention through his expeditions and later publications, the site was not truly lost and had been known to the local indigenous people who continued to live on and cultivate the terraces. Bingham's 1911 expedition, sponsored by Yale and supported by a small team, led to extensive archaeological study and the removal of artifacts for study at the Yale University, sparking widespread fascination with the lost city of the Incas. Did you know that the Mona Lisa is only famous because it was stolen? Italian handyman Vincenzo Perugia stole the Mona Lisa from the Louvre by hiding in a closet and walking out with it under his coat the next day. He believed the painting belonged in Italy and hid it in his Paris apartment for 2 years before attempting to sell it to an art dealer, which led to his arrest. The theft, a relatively simple act at the time, ironically made the painting a global icon. Oreo cookies were created by the National Biscuit Company, Nabisco, in 1912. The first Oreo was sold on March 6 to a New Jersey grocer, and the brand name was trademarked in the US in that same year. The origin of the name is uncertain, with theories including the French word for gold or a combination of letters for cream and chocolate. When you think about it, it does look like a cookie from the 1910s with its intricate design. The original publicity is also a work of art, and we all know it's a cookie that will always be popular. Speaking of sweets, that same year, Clarence Crane, a chocolate maker in Ohio, invented a round mint-flavored candy with a hole in the middle. The shape resembled a miniature life preserver, which inspired the name Lifesavers. The original slogan was Crane's Peppermint Lifesavers, for that stormy breath. Mint was the sole flavor initially, but by 1919, 6 other mint flavors were introduced, including winter green, clovey, and cinnamon. Fruit flavors were later introduced as solid candies in 1921, with the fruit drop with the hole appearing in 1925. The famous 5-flavor roll, with pineapple, lime, orange, cherry, and lemon, debuted in 1935. If there is a famous date in 1912, it's April 15. On this fateful day, the RMS Titanic sank to the bottom of the Atlantic. Everybody knows the story of how the owners of the unsinkable ship really thought that it could not sink, so they put less lifeboats on board, resulting in the tragic loss of more than 1,500 lives. 73 years later, the wreckage was found, igniting curiosity and reverence. Many artifacts were recovered and they're now in different museums. Titanic was such a hit that James Cameron produced one of the most famous movies ever made and won 11 Oscars with the story of star-crossed lovers Rose and Jack. In 2024, I visited the Titanic Museum in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and what stuck with me the most was the harsh circumstances under which about 15,000 Irishmen worked to construct the massive ship. The museum aims to honor those men, especially those who passed away during the construction. All in all, you can help but exit the museum in tears. To finish with 1913, the first crossword puzzle was created by Arthur Wynne. He published the first word cross in the New York World on December 21. The puzzle, which was diamond-shaped with no black squares, was created for the newspaper's fun section and became popular, especially during the 1920s crossword craze. The game's roots can be traced to earlier word squares, but Wynne's version is the direct ancestor of today's puzzles. And these are my highlights so far. I will leave you now with the background music for you to enjoy the rest of the setup. This is the final flip through of November where I travel back in time to the 1910s. One more decade to go and this year will be done. My 2026 setup will be uploaded soon, so keep an eye for that. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I truly appreciate the support and you just being here. And so as usual, thank you so much for watching.